All right, good afternoon, traders and guests. Thank you for being here today. My name is John Carignan. I am the lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. Thank you for being here. Thank you for following my content. Thank you for liking my content, sharing my content, appreciating my content. I love that. Thank you so much. All right. Today was an open house. I want to thank everybody that came in and visited with us. We had a great day today. We started off with a new 27K account, and we increased that by 3% on the first day. Now the goal is 1% per day, cumulative. All right, so nice 3% today, and we'll be able to take anything over 1% and use that as part of our risk tomorrow in a quality 10-minute uptrend or downtrend setup. Hopefully we get something that moves. Today was kind of catatonic, really kind of flat, not much movement. Surprisingly bullish after those two big red days that we saw the last two times. So let's go take a look at how we made 3%. Okay, 3% on a 27K account. We made over 3%, I think. Yeah, because we made 922. All right, so we made over 3%. So we made on some SPY puts right here, and I'll zoom in. You can see here's the price action today. As you can see, it goes from left to right. Doesn't vary much at all. Not a up movement. Just kind of wiggles around all day. Right here, right about between 631 and I don't know 629.50 or something like that. Okay, so we have traded some puts, looking like price was going to roll over and pull back to VWAP. So we traded some puts, and all I did was buy the lows of the candles and sell the highs. Okay, buy the lows, sell the highs. All right, then I had to exit because it started putting in higher lows. You know what happens when we put in higher lows? The market gets inspired to put in higher highs. So there you go. Price action, there's a 2-minute chart of the SPY. All right. So SPY's closing. It's 357 with a 10-minute. You can see obviously it's going to be a 10-minute uptrend into the close. So I'll be looking for a continuation of the 10-minute uptrend into the close. Okay. A continuation tomorrow morning. All right, but we'll see where they gap us to or move things around. So a continuation. So I would want a decent green candle. Okay, no topping wick candles. Nothing with more wick than body and tail. I don't want any spinning tops, no dojis, and no red candles. All right, for that continuation move to the upside. All right, so there's SPY on the 10-minute chart. 10-minute uptrend into the close. On the 2-hour, oh my gosh, look at the 2-hour. And the 2-hour recovers after all that crap last week, okay? We'll call it crap, all right? So we got, notice the 3 EMA has now crossed up over the 8, okay? And we've got a couple candles right there. Maybe even a rubber band candle that got broke. There's the free-floating candle. There's a free-floating candle, and we obviously closing candles up above that. So 2-hour uptrend coming into the close on the daily chart. Daily still in an uptrend. Okay, after this pullback, nice recovery. Looking like they're going to close, I got to say, on top of the bearish trap and over the 17 EMA. Really bullish today. Really, really bullish. Okay, you can see on the price action, we had consolidation over prior consolidation. So here's our consolidation. Well, that's not going to work. Let's try this one more time. Right here. Okay, so we had consolidation. Okay. Maybe a little bit better. I think we can do better than that. Here's consolidation. And you can see the majority of this consolidation was up over our prior consolidation. So that's a bullish environment. Okay, That's a bullish behavior. Not to mention we gapped up. All right, so the bears never filled the gap. Okay, there's another bullish behavior or bullish sign. On top of that, we moved up and we held the higher ground. Okay, so you can see price action moves from this low up to this high, and then we held the higher ground. All right, that's another bullish behavior. Let's talk about one more. Okay, this is the all-time high anchored VWAPs, this pink line here, and we consolidated on top of the all-time high anchored VWAP. Again, more bullish behavior, more bullish consolidation. All day we spent over regular VWAP, not just the anchored VWAP, but on top of regular VWAP. Not one pullback on the 10-minute candle was able to touch this VWAP moving average today, okay? So bulls really stepped it up today. Don't know why they let it fall so much Friday, but they really stepped in today. So I'm bullish going into tomorrow, I got to say. Price isn't really running away from VWAP or running away from all-time high anchored VWAP. I'm going to say it's close to a coin flip. But I'm going to give the edge to the bulls, all right? So the edge goes to the bulls for tomorrow. All right, so you can see right here, this is the price action for those puts. Again, buying the lows and selling the highs of those candles. Look at that spike at the very end. Wow. Okay, so let's take a look. We're just going to continue here, but we're going to do it on the 3-bar chart so you can see that's that product right there. Let's start with the next one. 4 days till expiration, 630 calls. I wish I'd held on to those. $119 we made on those. Okay, so again, bought the lows. We had an igniting rally right there. So we brought the first candle that shot up over the pre-market consolidation. We had a nice green candle rip, and we bought that candle, and we sold into the highs, all right, each time. And we kind of figured we'd get a bounce off of maybe one of these VWAPs or even the open gap, but they just bullied all day long. All day they bullied. And you can see here's a melting up right into the close, going to 631, maybe even higher, so right into that other VWAP there. So there's the 630 4 days till expiry. 632 calls, 0 DTEs. Again, we were bullish up here, consolidating over. I bought the lows of the candle, sold the highs. Bought the lows, sold the highs. $80 on these 633. Bought the lows, sold the highs. Not a whole lot of price movement on that one. Not much to be made. Lost $78 on these 631 0 DTEs. Did not see this 35-cent pop coming, okay, and closed those out at a loss. It looked like we were going to pop, and then they kind of melted off here, and then they decided at the last minute, let's go ahead and pop. So there's price action ripping. Would have been nice to collect some of these down here at these lows at 11 cents per share and sell them up here for, I don't know, 33 cents per share. That would have been really nice, okay? But it just didn't work out. At the end of the day, sometimes it's better not to trade after 2 o'clock, 2:30, because things get kind of wild and whippy sometimes. So sometimes it's best if you've made some profits, just to capture those profits, book them, and call it a day. All right. Sometimes it's a bit of advice that I've given to many traders in my coaching days. Is if the afternoons are not treating you right or you're struggling with those afternoons, sometimes it's better just to grab your daily goal and look at this. What's going on now? Big rally. Grab your daily goal and just call it a day, all right? Tomorrow will be another day. Maybe you'll get a clearer observation of what's going on. Okay, so there we are with SPY, and I traded some QQQ today, so we'll go through some of that. And QQQ, I made 149 on some calls right here on QQQ. Again, price breaking out. Thought it was going to continue. It never did. Price bought the lows, sold the highs of those candles. The other one made 21 on this dip down here and sold off up into the high up there. I was looking for a better pullback. Seems as though I got it, but this was one of those products that was kind of getting pricey. I don't like trading options that are over $1.50. Okay, now sometimes I have to, but I don't really like it. So I decided not to mess around with the 565 calls, even though those would have probably performed pretty good. You can see as price action ripping up to 224 into the close there. All right, so let's take a look at how we opened up this morning. Okay, to see that, you got to go to the pre-market. All right, pre-market, post-market, and let's put this on a 5-minute chart. All right, I want you to see the consolidation. So you can see we had some consolidation right through here. Okay, and right in there, I'm gonna pan over. I'm going to scoot this down so we can get a really good picture of what's going on. So here's the pre-market consolidation right through there. Okay, so we had a green erases red event here. So what would be the red? The red would be the pullback from the highs down to the lows right here. So from this high, we went down to this low right here, okay? So from that high down to that low. And then we had green erases red, okay? So we went from this low, well, you can see up to 564 highs up there. Same thing with SPY, okay? So you can see there's green erases red. So where's my entry? Yeah, right over there, right where green erases red. The very first candle, all you have to do is wait for it to close. All right. If it's a solid green candle, as long as it's not a doji or a spinning top or a candle with way more wick than body and tail, okay, that's a buyable candle right there on the 5-minute chart. Green erases red. That is a consolidation breakout. We traded that to the upside. That was nice right there. Okay, but the rest of the day was nothing but kind of chop, just back and forth, hit the high, come back and almost touch VWAP, but never really touch it. So there's QQQ. QQQ had a game plan as well. As you can see, here's our game plan for QQQ. Okay, QQQ pivot, 554.30. That never came into play today. Okay, and we had a red erases green entry underneath 551.95. We had a bullish green erases red entry right up over 557.80. So you can see here's the pullback from the high down to the low, and then here's the green erases red where green comes in and erases. See all this pullback from that high down to this low. Well, green erases all of that and rallies up there. You can see it consolidates and then breaks out and then consolidates right into the close all the way up to 565. Wow, just still going here. Markets got bullish today. Look at that. So nice move. So I like when I trade options, all right, because that's pretty much all I trade is index options. All right, I like the 4 days till expiration Friday options. Now, tomorrow, all right, the Friday options will be 3 days till expiration because we won't have today in there to count. All right, so tomorrow will be 3 days till expiration, and instead of 11 days till expiration for the following week, we'll have 10 days till expiration. Friday options on the multiple of 5, okay, that are anywhere between $3 and $15 out of the money. Okay, now if you like more performance your best performance is going to come from your 0 DTE in the money option most of the time. All right, so if you want more performance. Now, when I'm starting out a new account, all right, I like to give up some of that performance just to take on a little bit less risk. It's always imperative to me to start that new account off on the right foot. All right, otherwise you're in the weeds for a long, long time. Okay, so it's always imperative to me to follow my rules, find the quality setups, and trade those quality setups without using a lot of risk. Okay, and of course, the more you have into a product such as a 0 DTE, okay, that and with an expiration that expires at 4/15 today, okay, the more you have out there, that's more to lose. Okay, so I prefer some of the out of the money options as I'll have less to lose if this trade goes against me. All right, so that's what I choose. Now, I like 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. I like 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. And I'm going to mention this now. That goes for QQQ and SPY. I'm going to mention this right now. That my favorite trend, all right, because it's coming back into play here, all right, my favorite trend is a 10-minute uptrend over VWAP that's inside of a 2-hour uptrend, and we got a 2-hour uptrend into the close, so that's new. We had a downtrend yesterday, but we got a 2-hour uptrend into the close, so that's nice for tomorrow. Because that's my favorite trade, is that 10-minute uptrend over VWAP that's also inside of a 2-hour uptrend, and I like that 2-hour to be inside a daily uptrend that's inside of a weekly uptrend, inside of a monthly uptrend. So I like all of those to be in uptrends. All right. For me, that's what I prefer, because then I've got all the wind in my sails, and it just keeps pushing me forward in my progress into the direction I wish to go. Okay, so that's what I like. That's what I like. 10-minute uptrends over VWAP inside those 2-hour charts in an uptrend, and 2 hours in a daily chart that's also in an uptrend. So there's QQQ and SPY. Again, both of those we trade options. Again, tomorrow will be 3 days and 10 days till expiration. Friday options on the multiple of 5. Okay, $3 to $15 out of the money. Okay, you can choose whatever's comfortable for you. Remember, I don't like to risk more than 1 or 2% of my account at one time. And once my stop goes to break even, all right, then I've eliminated all of my risk. Okay, but I can't be too hesitant to move that stop all the way up there, because it tends to happen is the price seems to want to run after my stop. As soon as I set it up, it's like they want to go stop me out and then rip to new highs, making me chase it. So I have to be very disciplined about what I do. All right, so there's you saw QQQ, you saw SPY. Let's look at QQQ on the daily chart. Let's pick it up right here, and you can see on the daily chart. Let's try it one more time. All right, higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish trap over the rising 17 EMA. So that's bullish and still in an uptrend. FNGU. All right, FNGU, higher low, higher high, closing over a bearish trap. The other one was over a bearish trap as well. Okay, QQQ. Over a bearish trap and over the 17 EMA. Up there in quadrant 4, that's bullish up there. Up over the prior all-time high anchored VWAP. That's the purple line right there. All right, so there's a price action for FNGU. Let's take a peek at Diamond Dow. All right, Diamond Dow still up here in quadrant 4. That's bullish. Still in a downtrend. Back to FNGU one more time. Okay, FNGU recovering nicely today, but still in a downtrend because they'd have to take out this high in order to negate the downtrend. Here's a low. They made a lower low, all right, which puts them into a downtrend. So they got to take out this all-time high in order to negate the downtrend. So there's FNGU in a downtrend, but consolidating up here in quadrant 4. Again, Diamond Dow up here in quadrant 4. Again, you've got consolidation over prior consolidation. Okay, that is a bullish environment. There's consolidation over the prior consolidation. Okay, you can see that's a bullish environment up there. Anytime you can get price to move up and hold that higher ground, that is very bullish. All right, just think about planking for 4 to 6.5 hours straight. Okay, takes a lot of strength to do that. Okay, so you can see whenever price holds that higher ground, that's why I call it bullish, or you can see the strength inside it. So there's Diamond Dow still in a downtrend, but up there in quadrant 4. Okay, I'll zoom out here. Quadrant 4, and you can see 1, 2, 3. Up here in quadrant 4, it's bullish up over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Okay, that's our Diamond Dow. Bullish, but in a downtrend right there. IWM also in a downtrend, having a nice recovery day there. Again, consolidation over prior consolidation again. Get the right marker. Okay, so you've got consolidation right through here. Okay, and now we've got consolidation over prior consolidation. All right, so that's bullish up there. That's bullish to be over the prior consolidation. So IWM in a downtrend. See the low? They made a lower low. So in a downtrend, but bullish. No, not bullish. Still not in the upper third, so it's still neutral. Okay, for IWM. If we take a look here and put the line in, okay, got to be up over the third. It's not up here in the upper third. This would be bullish up here. Okay, bearish would be down here, anywhere down here below in the lower third. Lower third is bearish, upper third is bullish. All right, and in the middle ground, of course, we've got neutral right there. Okay, right in the middle ground. There's IWM. Let's take a look at our technicals. You can see T2122 ripped from the oversold zone straight into the buy zone. Nice job there. Then the bears tossed them out. Okay, so bears tossed them out. Price action, and they wound up chomping away inside the buyer's chop zone while they wait for new market data to come in for the buy and the overbought in this area, T2122. All right, that's bullish, moving up, holding that higher ground up there in the buyer's chop zone. That is bullish. All right, let's take a look at T2123. This is the rubber band candle day right here. Notice we didn't make a lower low than that. Okay, this would be date night, and this would be the second date rubber band candle right there. Okay, so there's price action. Today's price action looks like a little bit of follow through on that dark side shoes. Okay, so you got price action right here. A little bit of selling, a little bit of buying, a little bit of selling, looking like a 3 martini lunch or a snack, and then more buying right there. So price action, again, bullish gap up on a lot of these products. They bullish gapped up and they held the higher ground and continued rolling. So it was like a gap and go, but they only went for about, oh my gosh, till about 110, 120, and then after 110, 120, price action kind of settled down into a flat line. All right, so there's T2123, and that's the 3 bar. Notice we're not back up over the 200 SMA. Not a good sign. Okay, price action right through here. Price action moving down, moving over to the right, moving down, moving over to the right. That is a bearish outlook. Where SPY was moving up and over to the right. Okay, so there's T2123. They haven't made any higher highs, so they're still in a downtrend. Let's take a look at T2123 3 bar. Again, a series of higher lows and higher highs up here. This is bullish. All right, price action for T2123. Bullish up here. All right, because higher lows, higher highs, and in an uptrend up there at the top of quadrant 4. That's bullish. You can see we're dealing with a couple of prior highs over here. So we got some prior highs right there and right there. And if you see me put the crosshairs up on that, you can see where price action goes right through that area. Okay, so see that just underneath it. So if we could get up over those two peaks right there, all right, I think it'd be smooth sailing into the North Pole. Okay. So let me pause. No, I'm not going to pause the video. Everything's working well. Okay, so let's take a look at FNGU. Again, uptrend and bullish up in quadrant 4. FNGU, again, moving up, all right, and consolidating in the higher ground. So buying from the beginning of the day to the end of the day. Look at price candles. Every one of them is up over VWAP, all right? Underneath the 200 SMA, but nice move here to bring yourself up over VWAP right there on FNGU. Take a look at a few sectors, XLE. All right, let's try this one more time. All right, here's XLE on the daily chart. And you can see price action has a habit of moving up and giving it up. So it's just neutral through here, okay? That's neutral and in an uptrend, putting in higher lows and higher highs. Let's take a look at XLK. Okay, XLK putting in higher low, higher high, closing over bearish trap and over the 17 EMA. XLK is bullish. Again, price action, you can see right here, just 2 days ago made a new all-time high for XLK. So that was, they've been busy, all right? XLK doing a really great job here with this house right here. That's XLK. That's the technology sector. Okay, so let's take a look at SMH. All right, bullish up there in quadrant 4. Okay, again, XLK was up there in the same spot. Okay, up there at the top of quadrant 4. Okay, so SMH, same thing happening here. Okay, SMH bullish up there in the uptrend, right up there. They have not taken out any of these lows that project through this 17 EMA. Price action is all right, so let's take a look at XLF. XLF bullish up here, consolidating over prior consolidation. That's bullish up in quadrant 4. Okay, up over all-time high anchored VWAP. Still in an not in an uptrend. It's in a downtrend now because they made a lower low on XLF. Okay, FNGU was in it's in a downtrend as well. Again, no longer it's bullish up here because it's in quadrant 4, but making a lower low is in a downtrend. So FNGU in a downtrend, IWM in a downtrend, Diamond Dow in a downtrend. Okay, then we just did XLK. Now let's take a look at XLF, and XLF put in a lower low, so they're in a downtrend but bullish, consolidating up there and in quadrant 4. Let's take a look at IYT. I feel like I'm missing one. Okay, so there's IYT, price action, not in the upper third, so it's just neutral. Again, they go up and they give it up. Look where they lifted off from, this launch pad right here. Kind of a sloppy launch pad, but anyways, they go up and they give it up, so that is just that's just neutral right there. Okay, so price action closing inside a bearish trap under the 17 EMA. Let's take a look at USO and UNG. Okay, USO, price action moving up, giving it up, so just neutral. All right, you keep going up and you give it up. You go up, you give it up, but still bullish. They haven't made any lower lows yet, so that's still bullish on USO. Let's take a look at UNG. UNG, lower high, lower low, closing underneath, bearish trap underneath the 17 EMA, underneath all-time high anchored VWAP, down here in quadrant 4. That's bearish and in a downtrend, okay, for that's UNG. And you can see on UNG you're showing a head and shoulders pattern. This triple top is the head, and then we've got right shoulder and left shoulder. So this would be left shoulder, and this would be right shoulder. Thanks for sharing that, Bob. All right, so there's UNG. Let's take a look at GLD. Let's take that off. And, the bearish head and shoulders. Yeah, we got the head here, right shoulder right here, left shoulder right here, downtrend line, and then you've got the neckline that runs right through here. Again, price action goes down, moves over to the right, and then breaks down, comes back. Check the neckline. They can't make it. Again, you got lower lows and lower highs. So you're in a downtrend down here in quadrant 1. That is bearish. All right, so that's bearish and in a downtrend. Gold's in a downtrend, but not moving down. They got themselves in a downtrend by making a lower low. Okay, see this low? They made a lower low. Price action for gold today is a gap up, higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish cross, over the 17 EMA, over the all-time high anchored VWAP. So there's gold. In a downtrend, but bullish, consolidating up here at the top of quadrant 4, right there. Okay, so there's gold, bullish, but in a downtrend technically. SLV. Okay, silver up here in quadrant 4, also bullish. Today's price candle is a higher low, higher high, closing inside a bearish trap, but under the 17 EMA. Silver is bullish and still in an uptrend. Okay, in order to negate the uptrend status, they'd have to take out this low right here that pokes below the 17. If they take out that low, they will negate the uptrend and convert to downtrend. So there's silver, all right, bullish and in an uptrend right now. Let's take a look at IYT. Transports are neutral, no longer in the upper third. They were holding the higher ground, they just couldn't get it done. So you can see transports move up and give it up. All right, price action. You can see for price action here, you've got a higher low and a higher high, closing over the all-time high anchored VWAP, but not in the upper third. All right, and they're in a downtrend because you got a low right here. Well, they made a lower low. All right, so there's IYT in a downtrend. Thanks for sharing that, Bob. All right. Tex UNG measured move of the head and shoulders puts $8. Thank you, Tex. Okay, measured move puts $8 on UNG on the table. Sailing to the North Pole. Now, what's we need? We need in this late summer heat. Okay. Sharon, PLTR reported earnings popper in the market after the close. Let's take a look at it. You want to take a look at it. PLTR. All right. And on the 10-minute chart, yeah, nice pop there. Okay. Into the close. That could be some new all-time highs. Yep, new all-time highs into the close. Nice pop there on PLTR. Thanks for sharing that, Sharon. Barrel and Chad, first 1-minute candle after the market wicked down to 628. A Barrel and Chad, not sure about the question, okay? Not sure about that question. Maybe if you could explain what you meant by that. Barrel and Chad Thinkorswim showed a dirty data on the 1-minute down to 621.59. Okay, thanks, Tex. And Raj, Amgen bullish per daily. Take a look at Amgen per daily. Yeah, still in an uptrend. All right, still in an uptrend. Again, moving up and giving it up, and now trying to reacquire it. Okay, so Amgen, it's got to get up over this wick right here. Got to get up over that wick and hold this higher ground. Show us some strength. Right now, they were lucky. They closed over the bearish trap there and over the 17. Okay, so there's Amgen right there. Hope that helps, Raj. All right, looking like price action. Okay, it's going to be... Okay, you got resistance right there. Okay, so they got to get up on top of this and consolidate. Notice they were up there earlier and they gave it up. Okay? All right. You're welcome. All right. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to try to get these videos out there. All right. Thank you for hanging out with me today. Whatever happens on your trading journey, let me just say, whether it's with me, whether it's with Rick or Ed or Doug or anybody, okay? I wish you the best, all right? I wish you absolute success in your trading journey, all right? I am always here, all right? Just think about it. If what I'm teaching makes sense to you, I've shown you that what I do works by demonstrating it 2 or 3 times today with multiple trades, all right? So I'm showing you the green erases red trades and how I demonstrate what this is where I enter, and then I'm going to take profits into this target, okay? So I'm demonstrating it, and I hope all of that makes sense to you. Hey, Robert, would you say grabbing SPY calls on the open? If you could get some, it's too late now, on the open above the pre-market range was key to delivering today's profits. Yeah, that was a big part of it, was price action moving up. And I was playing it very conservative this morning on SPY due to the fact that I had a new account. All right, and like I said earlier, I was a little bit safer today because it is my new account that I started. All right, and remember last month I made 27,000, made 1.6 million on that, and the month before I made close to 800,000, over 800,000 on the last account for last open house. So today we made 3%, and the goal today was to start off on the right foot, and that helped me out. And I wish I'd have got 10 contracts instead of just 2, or I really do. But again, I wanted to play it safe. I didn't know how many newbies or visitors were going to be following me, and I did not want to put them into a position where they're losing money. All right, because I really want to set them off on the right foot as well, so that they can believe in the process that I'm teaching as much as I do. All right, so thanks, Robert. All right, excellent day, Sharon. Enjoyed it a lot. Thank you. I look forward to trading with you, Sharon, in the future here. Hope you spend more time in the room, ask more questions. Again, I'm always here. All right, so again, trials are only $7 if you're interested, and all you got to do is scroll up here, and the link is in there. Okay, just all you got to do is scroll up, right up here, $7 trials. See this? Ed shared it for us right there. Okay, so again, thank you. I'm honored that y'all spent the day with me. I'm even more pleased that you made profits, and I'm even more pleased that you were entertained at the same time. Okay. All right, I love you all. Thank you. I'll see you all tomorrow, 8 o'clock in the morning, where we're going to do it again. Okay, everybody have a wonderful evening.